Now to address the challenges of making Aliyah and the foundational brotherhood of Israelis in supporting one another through crises. We welcome Marc Reiss, who heads foreign resident and new immigrant activity at Mizrahi Tefahot Bank. Marc, thank you so much for joining us. When we think about the issues facing the northern residents today in the wake of the war, one doesn't evidently think of a bank helping people with this crisis. Can you tell us a little bit about how Mizrahi Tefahot has been helping the residents of the North?
Yeah, certainly. Thank you. For me, the contribution, as much as the product service package that the bank would give, it's equally the thought behind them and the process in creating relevant and added value products from a dedicated team as to how to ease the burden on those whose lives have been so disturbed and challenged over the last year or so, 15 months or so. To me, that's probably as impressive as the products and services that the bank is providing. There are two types of products. There's existing products which have been improved to match the situation, and there's new products which have been created for the new situation which has been which has transpired. We have, I suppose, three types of clients which will be relevant for. You have the retail clients, individuals, as it were. They might need things like bridging loans, renovation loans to freshen up places that they haven't been to for almost a year, perhaps even 15 months. And then deposits too. I'll get into a little bit more detail on those products. We've also got the business segment, and their needs are slightly different. Remember, these guys almost in one day abruptly had to give up their businesses, had to stop everything, and were basically evacuated, and things stopped immediately. So to restart their business, they might need restarting business loans, much bigger sums involved there from dedicated funds for that segment. They might need helping when they start with their business, how to manage and better their cash flow, because it won't be so easy right at the beginning to maintain a good level of cash flow. Therefore, the bank will have products on how to help that and some loans, how to support that. And also in terms of, and this is a new product, which is, I find, quite impressive, and this is an example of where thought has been gone into, not just what you would have thought as a dedicated banking product, but how to encourage business and tourism back into these areas and to help grow those business by providing vouchers at discount for people, for businesses, whether it's particularly up north now, which is a beautiful part of Israel. And so to encourage people to go there, these businesses can subscribe with the bank and will discount vouchers for use for people to transact with these businesses. Also for our mortgage clients, coming back after 12 to 15 months back home, they might want an all-purpose loan, but a quick and simple process how to achieve that based on an existing security which they are using to get their mortgage, and we could provide them with funds as to how to get back to routine quickly. Also, life goes on. There'll be people who want to take new mortgages in the communities which have been evacuated. They want to purchase homes there. Therefore, we'll provide benefits for new mortgages for people who want to purchase properties in those areas. And there's significant benefits that can be had there. I understand that at least 100,000 shekels, for example, of a mortgage at super competitive rates, in addition to the mortgage or as part of the mortgage that they'll be taking. Also renovation loans. You come back to a property after not being in there for well over a year, and it probably needs a touch-up. It's not quite as significant as perhaps redoing the whole building, but it's a nice thought as to how to help with those.
Sometimes it's the little things that count.
Very much so. And also there'll be people who, even though they restart their businesses and their lives, they need some additional income to support for that. So the bank is coming up with a new product as to how to leverage from the existing mortgage and to give them more money, but on a monthly basis to supplement their income, which may be less than they were used to before this whole episode started. A little bit more detail on the retail or the individual clients that I said. And this actually very much reflects the thought process going in. After coming back to an uninhabited property after a lengthy period of time, and especially the properties that have been significantly damaged, whether it's by missile strikes or whatever, there would obviously be masses of claims going into Mas Rechush or to the assessor's office in order to claim for the damage on their property, and that they can receive money and start building as they would like to. So because of the expected delays with these things, the bank will supply a bridging loan with no security based on the expected claim to come. I think it's up to 70% of that claim, or up to 150,000 shekels. Also at very competitive rates. That's the whole point of this. And that will take pressure off those waiting for their claims to be processed. I thought that's a very touching product there. Coming back to a house which just needs to be, the bathroom to be freshened up or to be touched up, or the kitchen to be done up, light refurbishment, as it were, small loans, competitive pricing for that. Some people might be receiving their money quicker than they thought, and to take the pressure off them having to use it, instead of it sitting in their account, and to give them time to decide what it is exactly they might want to do and what to fix. So the bank has come up with some deposits which will, while maintaining liquidity, which means the ability to get to their money much easier than locking it away for long periods of time, yet still with very high or competitive interest rates. So these are the type of products which would be relevant and suitable for individuals, specifically from the north right now.
So on the business end of things, I understand that Bank Mizrahi has also opened up a portal on its website to enable people, not just from the north, but across the country impacted by this war, to better sell their products abroad. Is that correct?
Yeah, not abroad, but within Israel. Yes, that's part of the. It's a lovely idea that the bank's come up with. It's called Katon Yisrael, which is Orange Israel. Our brand is actually orange, so there's a lovely connection there. But yeah, we have on our website a platform dedicated to those that subscribe to do so, to register their businesses, and we support and encourage and facilitate the sale of their products online. And that can only help for people coming back to their businesses now, not just for the business perspective, but for the client perspective too, to make it easier for them to help with these businesses too. There are other things as well which aren't necessarily relating just to the north, but are no less impressive due to the situation down the south and to any other part of Israel affected. The bank took upon itself to adopt, it's called Kulanu Kfar Aza, and also Sderot, to adopt, not just for the short term, but for the long term, the communities of Kfar Aza and Sderot. And while, and I spent many years working abroad in banks, banks can always give money to causes, but it's particularly nice when you see it's not just about the money, it's about the effort and the dedication, and not just short-term, but long-term accommodation for the, what I would consider very important causes that we choose to support. So supporting and adopting Kfar Aza and Sderot, from even reasonably, or what seemingly might feel like relatively trivial things like donating to their pub in Kfar Aza so people can have some sort of normal life and social activity when they're ready. Helping with temporary accommodation, dior zmani in Hebrew, helping with various parties during Hanukkah and things like that. Those are nice ideas. The bank also took upon itself to adopt a gdud in the army. This particular one is Gdud Sabar Givati. Not just with money, but with visits to those who have been giving their lives and their time in protecting us while we sleep, while we function in our daily lives. And these guys would appreciate, whether it's treats and small indulgences and some financial help, but as much visits from the bank, from workers who genuinely care and would visit the injured and help them with the whole process.
So that's a whole separate other program that you've also established to visit soldiers in the hospital as well.
Oh, well, there's something called Chozrim L'Chaim, which is actually on the cheshbon of the bank, or on the bank's time, as it were, but they encourage workers to visit twice a week. Those, and they go to the shikum, whether it's in Sheba or in Soroka, and they're part of the shikum. And I understand that the feeling on both sides is quite amazing. There's genuine, tangible help to those injured, and a genuine feeling of meaning given by the bank staff that go and do this. So it's quite wonderful to be part of that.
all these programs for the North, for the rest of Israel that's been impacted by the war. I guess for a lot of people, the question might be why? If this is a bank, it's a financial institution. What is the thought behind this?
Well, to be honest with you, as far as I'm concerned, it's actually not that far from what we do as a bank in any case. We genuinely believe that a bank is only as good as the person sitting opposite you. It's about people in any case and what we do from a banking perspective. In our particular bank, for example, Mizrahi Tefahot, we've always believed that it's the people part of the bank. We've been probably the only bank opening branches, believing in the face-to-face contact with people. So therefore, for us, it's not dissimilar to think, how can we help the people involved as opposed to just throwing out money to support them? All of what we've just spoken out, as far as I'm concerned, reinforces that we really are there for clients in times of need, and that we try sincerely to go to that extra mile with, and this is the key word, relevant and value-added products, not just throwing things their way and seeing what hits or what's missed. And that's the idea of the thought process behind it, to make them relevant.
Tell me a little bit more about the thought process behind another kind of branch of people that the bank is servicing, the new immigrant demographic. How is the bank meeting their needs as they're coming to Israel during the war?
As the head of the foreign resident and the new immigrant business, and really and truly from our perspective, the foreign resident is a new immigrant to be, because they will be laying the groundwork. It's equally as important to understand why they'll want to be coming to Israel. I mean, that's the fundamentals of banking in any case. Our whole aim is to provide relevant solutions to people. And if you don't understand their true needs, in other words, if we can truly empathize with people as opposed to just sympathize with them, then we'll succeed. So the first thing that we'll be doing is understanding why they want to be coming in the first place. And this is important. So we've discussed before, the world is full of uncertainty at the moment, whether it's politically, economically, geopolitical. The world is in many ways in crisis in many places. Also, the unbelievable resurgence of anti-Semitism all over the place, and not just in the usual places which we might have seen or expected, but in the Western world, in the capital cities, and in university campuses, and some of the best universities in the world. These are all very unsettling times. All of that plays a part, but from my perspective, that isn't the reason. And from my understanding, from my speaking with people in communities around the world, this is not why people are coming. You have to remember, the Israeli economy is strong. Some figures, in the last 2 years, the shekel has been the strongest performing, or one of the top 2 strongest performing currencies globally. And this is in time of war. Just imagine what we could achieve if we were able to fully dedicate ourselves just to a productive economy and not have to dedicate so much time and effort to our heroic efforts in the war. There is so much to add here. If you look at the statistics abroad, for example, there's about 205 countries around the world today. From an economic perspective, we are around number 28 in GDP. We are a 2 trillion shekel economy, about $560 billion economy. But from a GDP per capita, which is the productivity per person, we are number 13 in the world, about $58,000. This is an economy which is free, and it's creative, and it generates, and it's based on talent, and that brings in capital, and it brings in people. And that's the main reason why people want to come to Israel. Yes, it's helped by the fact that there are circumstances abroad which are very, very, very difficult and distressing. But the Israeli economy and the atmosphere here, and if you don't mind me adding, but when you see here how the heroes who are protecting us and standing up for us and fighting for what we believe to be right in this unjust war that we've been facing, or just from our perspective, but unjust in the way it was started against us, and you compare that to the helpless, in many ways, communities abroad or the young adults who really can't do very much, and they see what the young adults here are able to do for us and the heroism which they display, yeah, they want to be part of that and contribute and be part of our future. So when you understand that, then you can understand how you serve these clients. And what will the first thing they need to do to lay the groundwork of coming here? Well, they'll want to decide where they want to live. Should they rent? Should they buy? We can provide them with mortgages. If they want to rent or receive rent, they'll need transactional bank accounts. If they want, they'll be often coming from places where the shekel obviously is not their natural native currency. How foreign currency, how foreign exchange, how the accounts work with non-native currency, with sterling, with dollars, with euro, with Swiss francs, whatever it is. For those that have family here, how they can support them, how the banking relationships support good causes that they may want. For those who are affiliated a little bit more and laying the groundwork really for a near-term aliyah, they might want to invest in a local or invest locally in businesses or in real estate, and the bank can cater for that too.
So I think that you've laid out a optimistic future that Bank Mizrahi Tefahot is involved with, and thank you very much for speaking with us today and bringing some hope to the troubles that we're seeing up north.
Thank you very much. If I just say one more word, it really is all about the people. And therefore, from whether it's the banking perspective or whether it's from the country which attracts so much, we're only as good as the person sitting opposite you. And that's where we excel.
Thank you, Marc.